Natalie Rupnow is officially a men's rights issue. And the reason I say that is because she is completely comparable to Elliot Rodger. And yet the legal system and society at large treats them as night and day. Now look at this one here. School shooter 15 seen at gun range in shirt linked to Columbine on it, months before she killed two and injured quite a few. They leave that out. What do they say about the guys who did the Columbine shooting? They see them as a threat that has to be taken care of, right? They're demonized as a threat. This young girl is not being demonized, even though she's the exact same way. Now, what they do with Elliot Rodger, right? Murderous king of the incels. So, one, this guy, he's not given any leeway. There's no excuses. He's 100% guilty of his crimes. He's a bad guy. And he represents another group. Another group which society wishes to demonize. Look at this. This is my important video playlist. Incels and terrorism. Sexual deprivation as a security threat. So they're going to use Elliot Rodger, who's you could consider mentally ill, as an excuse to attack another group of men that aren't guilty of anything other than maybe voicing displeasure. Right? Now, are they going to do that with Natalie? Because Natalie was a rad femme, from what I understand. There's no mention about how we have to demonize radical feminists. Right? Now, let me get into this. We'll show you the differences. Now, think about how they treated Elliot Rodger. This is how they treat Natalie.
Tonight, police are learning more about the 15-year-old female student who they say killed a teacher and a classmate before turning a gun on herself at Abundant Life Christian School in Madison, Wisconsin.
At this time, it appears that the motive was a combination of factors.
Yeah, it's a combination, right? It wasn't a hate movement. It has nothing to do with her manifesto. Remember, her manifesto, we can't see yet. These cops are, they're hiding it, right?
Police identifying the shooter as Natalie Rupnow, saying she went by the name Samantha.
They're not even showing her photo.
We're talking to students to understand whether bullying was one of those multiple factors that I mentioned earlier.
If bullying was a factor, right? Right? They're looking for excuses for her behavior. She's female. She can't be bad. Being female is innately good. So something must have made her do it, right? Yet, where is he? Elliot Rodgers, the way he was treated by society doesn't matter. He's 100% guilty of his crimes. Right?
Police clarifying the initial 911 call was made by a second-grade teacher. Two students are still battling life-threatening injuries. Law enforcement spending the night sifting through the home of the shooter's parents.
Everyone was targeted in this incident, and everyone was put in equal danger.
Why did he mention this? What does he mean? Why is this important? Everyone was. What does he mean by everybody? Why? Or I should say what? What they mean is if she is a radical feminist, and the manifesto that's been going around online is true, she was targeting males specifically. So he's not even addressing this, right? He's not mentioning, oh, people think she was targeting men. He's not even mentioning that. He's just saying everyone was the target of this, right? Because they're not going to demonize rad femmes the way they do incels, even though rad femmes are actual terrorists and incels are just lonely guys griping online, right?
Investigators looking into how the 15-year-old accessed the handgun used in Monday's shooting.
Here's the other thing. How'd she get her hands on a gun, right? When Elliot Rodger did his shooting, did anyone ask that question? Was there a big gun law debate over it? No, no. It's not important. He's the bad guy, right? But this girl, she's female, so she's the good guy. So therefore, how did she get this gun? That's really important. Let's make this about something else. Here's another thing. There was all kinds of effort to make Natalie a trans woman, right? She's an obvious born female. Because if they could say she was trans, she could say she's male. She's a man trying to be a woman. And that's why he went on this murder spree. That fell through. They actually sat on the fact that her gender was female for a good 24 hours. They didn't want the public to know.
Spending hours interviewing her father and looking into her social media footprint, with detectives scrambling to verify a document circulating online purported to be from the shooter.
The process for
yeah, hours and hours, right? Talking to her father, looking through her social media. They can't find her manifesto. Elliot Rodgers, they could his right away. They couldn't wait to share it. But this girl, we can't tell hers because, hey, that might give a heads up at who the bad guys are, right? Women might look bad.
Doing that is looking at original documents that may have been taken from the suspect's home, looking at information that may be on laptops.
The community left reeling.
We know a lot of the people.
The rest doesn't matter for this video anyway. Now, I want to get to this live conference. Why? Because the reporter asked a very important question. How come you're having a conference without having anyone tell us anything? And the mayor here will give a stunning response. Let's see, I've got it. Yeah, 11/13/57. Okay. She's going to shut the reporters down. Okay, let's get into this. 57. Right here. Now it's going to be, you're going to have to prick your ears up because this is very quiet.
Adding off that question, I mean, we've been sitting here for the last 27 hours, as Adam mentioned. Why would you guys not have the proper people in place to answer some of these questions? You guys, including the fire chief, have sat here and tried to say that you want to dispel rumors on social media. You want to make sure that you're giving factual information. We're asking questions that have been circulating on social media, including rumors about the victims. Why not provide clarification and actually have people here to answer those questions to set the record straight?
I don't know how.
Yeah. I know you probably couldn't hear that, but she basically say, how come you don't have anyone here to provide us with details to set the record straight? That's an appropriate question from a reporter. Now, look at the attitude she'll display, this mayor here.
How many times I can say this? We will share good factual information when we can. None of you is obliged to stay here.
Yeah, you pointing out our ineffectualness. Hey, you're not obliged to stay here. Get out.
You're free to leave. You don't have to be sitting in this room if you don't want to. And we will share information when we can. It's very important that that information be as factual as possible. All right, I'm going to say this and then we're done. It is absolutely none of y'all's business.
Hey, reporters, the news isn't your business. It's not your business about the perpetrator, and it's not your business about the victims. This is the first time I've ever heard anyone say this to reporters.
Who was harmed in this incident. Please have some human decency and respect for the people who lost loved ones or were injured themselves or whose children were injured.
These people are important, but it's none of your business who they are. Right? Again, guys, did they say that about Elliot Rodgers, or could you find whatever you want out about the victims he had? Right? There were 4 men and 2 women. Everyone knew that. So why is his crystal clears and Natalie Rupnow, it's all in the shadows? Because I'll tell you, most likely the victims were male. And this young lady was a radical feminist, and she targeted males specifically. That's why I believe they're keeping it under wraps. And again, guys, this is why this is a men's rights issue. Because Elliot Rogers is not only being demonized personally, he's being used to demonize innocent men who haven't committed any crimes. And yet this Natalie is definitely a part of a hate movement if she's a rad fan. And they want to keep that hate movement rolling. This whole situation makes me vomit. Anyway, that's what we've got to say about this.